Well, welcome back to the MetroSouth Morning News program, and thank you for joining us this morning. As we had the last half hour before the 7:30 news, we had Officer Nancy Leedberg, and we're talking about Not My Kid, and she has a special guest. And basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of give her a chance to tell us who she has with her, and I think she also has some questions for him. Do you not?
I do.
All right. Well, the floor is yours.
Why, thank you. Good morning. This morning I brought my friend Amy LeFort in, and I'm just going to ask you to say a little bit about yourself.
Hello, I'm Amy LeFort. I'm 27 years old. I'm a teacher, and I'm here because my family lost my younger sister from a drug overdose this past January.
Wow. And what makes you come out and talk to people about what happened to your family?
Because my sister was the perfect kid. She was honest. She was a straight-A student. She was a cheerleader. She was gorgeous. She did modeling in high school. And if it can happen to her, it can happen to anybody. And her story needs to be shared. If it can help one person, then it's worth it.
I agree. And a couple weeks ago, I had you to South Middle School to talk to my 8th grade students about choices. And it was phenomenal. It was very well received. And I really think a lot of the kids took a message away from it saying, this could happen to me. This could happen to someone I know. And you shared the statistics. And, I mean, even for me, and I've heard you speak before, and you're such a great public speaker. Even when I heard it the second time, I said, wow, it has to make a difference, and the kids need to hear this. But how do you think parents could benefit from attending, say, Not My Kid?
Parents just need to be aware that this is out there. And I will tell you from my experience and my parents' experience that for a long time, it was not my kid. It was not my sister, because this girl was great and she was always honest. But it did happen to her. And the denial part, as soon as you can get over that, you can really start helping people. And it would have been great if my sister's friends' parents had gone to something like that, because she was always at their house, and if they had noticed something different, maybe we could have helped her before she got in too deep.
And do you find that even if a child is unwilling to disclose drug use to their parents, that maybe there's somebody in the family that they would trust to open up to, or even a teacher?
I do. I think that if there is an adult that they are close to, whether it's not their parents, it could be a teacher, a guidance counselor, even an administrator at a school. Many students it just depends on the student's personality and the adult's personality, and if they click. Hopefully the student has an adult to go talk to if they are struggling with these things.
Absolutely. And making sure that they have an adult that they can talk to is very important, too. One of the reasons why we are in the schools, the 4 school resource officers that we have in the 8 middle schools. Why do you think that prevention or early intervention is important?
It's the only way. After sort of walking through this for the past 5 years, I wish that she had just never done it, because after these kids start taking this drug, it's not impossible, but it's late. It's really, really hard to stop, and all they need to do is take it once, and they're hooked, and their body's hooked, and their minds are different. So if we can prevent children from even trying these things, that would be great.
Sorry, we were listening to Bill. Yes, I agree. And I think half the battle, too, is detecting it early or preventing it from happening entirely, because my experience with people that use Oxy, or even ones that eventually turn to heroin, nobody wants to be a heroin addict. They're using so that they're not going through the withdrawal. They're not going through the DTs.
Absolutely. And I think that was a lot of what Liz struggled with at the beginning. But she went to many, many rehabs, and her body had withdrawn. She got help for those withdrawal symptoms, and even after she went through that and was her body was used to not being on that drug, it was still incredibly difficult for her not to turn back to that drug, because she was addicted to it. She was addicted emotionally and physically. And her mind, that's all she thought about. It's all she wanted. That was the end to all of her means.
But how long do you think she used without you guys knowing she was using?
Probably a year.
Yeah.
I would say. Maybe not quite that long. But she was definitely into the Oxycontin. And a friend of hers came to me and said, Amy, Liz is using heroin. And that was her senior year in high school.
Oh, my goodness.
So right then, we sectioned her. We had her sectioned. And she was in and out of programs. We sectioned her twice, actually.
Wow.
And it's just been a fight.
And she did multiple rehab programs, right?
Oh, over a dozen.
Oh, wow. Now, how old was she?
She was 23.
23? Wow. Now, what advice do you have for parents that are listening and saying to themselves, wow, this girl sounds like a really talented, really smart, really beautiful, aspiring young kid, and she started using. What can you say to them about their kids?
Every parent loves their kid. Every parent is going to say, that's not who my child is. That's not who they were raised to be. And there is a shame attached to this. There is a stigma attached to drug use. And if people could get over the shame of saying my kid has a problem, or if they're using that I have a problem, this may be easier. But of course, a parent is going to fight in their own mind against saying that my child is using, my child is hanging out with kids that are using. And if you can get over that and just take a good, honest look, if you can realize it soon enough that they're using, you can help them. But the longer you're in denial about it, the faster things go downhill.
And do you think kids don't tell their parents because they don't want them to be disappointed, or because they don't know they need help?
It's for kids, there are no consequences for them. They're invincible. They're saying, I'm just experimenting, I'm just trying this.
Stop whenever I want.
I can stop whenever I want. And I think that there is sort of a shame put on them as well. Like, oh, you're a drug user now. You're an addict. And parents don't want to admit that about their kids. Children don't want to disappoint their parents.
Sure.
They want to go home and make mom and dad proud.
Absolutely. I know a lot of the kids that I knew that used, started with Oxy, turned to heroin very quickly because they couldn't afford the Oxy. But they always said, oh, it's a prescription drug. A doctor prescribes this, so it's safe. Not knowing, obviously, the dangers or the addiction component of it.
I think that's exactly what happened to Liz. She had been sort of dabbling in other drugs, and somebody offered her this. She tried it, and, oh, it's just a pill. People use these all the time for pain. I'm not in pain, but how bad could it be? And she got severely addicted to the Oxycontin, and then went to heroin because, again, it was so much cheaper, and it's.
Wow. A lot of my parents, the ones that I talk to about how come they haven't attended Not My Kid yet, I say, what reason, is there something that prevents you from coming? Because I think some of my parents are caught in the, if I go, I'm saying I have a problem. And I don't want that to be the situation whatsoever. I want it to be, I want to go and get information. I want to prevent drug use. I want to prevent my child from ever trying it. And one of the things that I think is very cool about Not My Kid is we do give a $40 drug test kit to parents. And you know what? If they don't use it, it doesn't hurt my feelings. But what they can say is, hey, we have this drug test kit at home. If your friends, family, whoever asks you to do something that you don't want to do, you can say, I can't. I'm drug tested at home.
Exactly. And I think that's a great idea to have that out for the child that's being peer pressured. But I also think that people are busy. You know what I mean? People have errands to run and places to bring their kids and soccer games and basketball games. But when it comes right down to it, it's, how long is it? How long is your program?
45 minutes.
It's 45 minutes out of your day that could save your child's life. And that's really what it comes down to, because it's everywhere.
Yes, I absolutely agree. And honestly, I don't think I've ever said it that well. 45 minutes out of your life that could save your child's life.
Exactly. And if you can prevent it from happening, that would be the best thing to do.
Ladies, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming in. Did you want to finish up saying something, Nancy?
Oh, should I wrap up here?
Yeah. Right now would be a great time to wrap up.
This is where I should segue into, and if you like what you heard today on the radio, next Friday, June 17th, we are having a training at the Youth Y. And to register, you can email me at nancy@brocktonpolice.com. You can log on to Facebook, Brockton Police Community Education. You can go on the web, brocktonpolice.com, and check out our training and register that way. Or you can call me, 508-897-5377. I also respond to carrier pigeons. However you want to get a hold of me, please do. If nothing else, just show up. Register at the door. I can't guarantee I'll have a drug test kit, but the information that you will receive will be worth it. I promise.
I think it's more about the message than anything. And,
Yes.
and Amy, I want to thank you for coming. I think you both completed the message today.
Thank you.
And hopefully we can get some people, and that was well put. 45 minutes. Think of it. A life, 45 minutes.
Thank you, Amy.
Thanks.
We're going to take a break. We want to make sure we thank our guest, Officer Nancy Leedberg. Please, if you have a chance, attend that next Friday. Thank you, Amy, once again.